Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, we discussed about various components of the model. And for example, we took a reception-oriented model wherein we saw different components, namely syntax, which had three phases, social system, principles of reaction, and support system. So now let us discuss some of the applications of concept attainment model. The first one is it can be used with all ages and grade levels. Concept attainment model is such a model which will be suitable for use at different grade levels since it involves examples and categorization of information which leads to attainment of concept. So it is suitable for all ages and grade levels for which you do not need any specific skill to be developed. Second point is, at higher secondary level, the selection of unorganized strategy would be effective because at higher secondary level the cognitive, what you call enhancement or the cognitive growth is better than at other levels, or maybe we can call at school level. So that as we have seen before that an unorganized strategy would start with presentation of the concept so that the students get comfortable with the concept first and later on they go ahead with the examples and forming hypothesis for the given concept. So unorganized strategy would be effective at high secondary, which may not be that effective at high school because the students would have to go other way around, which is not there in reception oriented, or maybe we can say the other model, wherein they are presented with the examples first and then the concept is taught. But in an unorganized strategy, you teach the concept first and then you go with the examples, or go for the example, which is a common method sometimes used by the teachers in all the schools, but it is not at par with the concept attainment model. But if we consciously make use of this model and follow the steps which are suggested by Jerome Bruner, it would be more effective. And it is an excellent evaluation tool to check the mastery of previously taught concepts. Since you need an understanding of certain concepts which they would frame or they would develop on the basis of the examples that the teacher would pose or the teacher would present to them, it serves as an excellent evaluation tool to see how much are they aware of the concepts or how much previous knowledge do the students have before they begin with any topic. Next point is it helps in revealing the depths of students' understanding and reinforces that previous knowledge. So in a way it is making the students aware, or in a way making the teachers aware of how well the students have understood the concepts which are required as a part of their previous knowledge and on the basis of which they would continue. Concept attainment model is also useful for teaching a new concept through group or individual inquiry process. So we have to remember that concept attainment model, as we have already discussed, can make use of cooperative strategies or cooperative learning strategies. So it is always possible to make use of this model or implement this model maybe by using group or individual inquiry process, so that teaching of a new concept gets easier. So in a concept attainment model, we can in a way include inquiry training approach for setting the hypothesis or maybe coming up with a solution to a given problem. Few more applications include it can be used to teach new concepts about which the students have very little knowledge or suitable previous knowledge, and some those concepts which are very new to them can be introduced using concept attainment model. It can be used to inculcate values like cooperation and tolerance, since you can allow the students to work in a group. It develops the values of cooperation and tolerance, because while working in a group you need to be tolerant of the other person's way of working, and which is a very important value as an individual we should have, and can be used to develop logical reasoning. Since students are dealing with the examples here first, if we think of a reception oriented model, then they are in a way thinking logically towards a concept on the basis of the examples that are presented to them. So in a way it strengthens their logical reasoning. It can help students to generate hypotheses. As we have seen, generating hypothesis is a part of a process, and generating a hypothesis needs a lot of logical thinking and a lot of logical reasoning behind that, and it can help students develop that. So these were some of the applications of concept attainment model. Here only few are mentioned. There are a lot many, so we can have a discussion on those applications when we'll have an interactive session a few days later. Moving ahead, let us see some of the advantages of concept attainment model. It helps in improving inductive reasoning. We all know what inductive reasoning is, so it helps improve inductive reasoning. It helps in understanding abstract concepts. Sometimes the concepts which are a bit difficult to understand or which are a bit difficult to think of or imagine can be made very clear with the use of concept attainment model. It can be used for any age group, which we saw in the applications. It can be used to elucidate concepts from any subject area. So it can basically cover all age groups, all grade levels, and any subject area whichever involves teaching of a concept. It helps in long-term learning because as a student start from examples and reach the concept, they always remember the examples very effectively, and that basically helps them to remember the concept because they link examples to the concept, and it helps them in retaining that particular understanding of a concept for a long time. Few more advantages include concept formation helps learner as it reduces the need for repeating learning experiences. Since there is nothing here in this particular model which would require the students to repeat the learning experiences, as in repeat the activities, because based on the examples they are making sense of a given concept which a teacher is expecting the students to learn. So in a way, there is no need for the students to repeat the given learning experience. I mean by learning experience, an activity which the teacher would design, because each student would think in a different manner and would develop that concept in his or her mind in a different manner. So in a way, it reduces that need of repeating that learning activity or learning experience by the teacher. It gives a lot of opportunities to the children to find out commonalities among different objects, resulting in convincing them meaningfully. Since we deal with examples for which they have to differentiate between those two, or maybe find commonalities between two, which we call as essential attributes and non-essential attributes. So it makes a child learn more in detail about a given concept, and they get themselves convinced about the concept without much explanation by the teacher, since they are dealing with the examples, and the attributes or the features, or maybe we can call characteristics of those examples, help them understand the topic in an easier manner. Concepts once formed facilitate further learning. So if your concepts are stronger, if your conceptual understanding is stronger, it can definitely help you learn more things or more detailed information about that given area in a better way. And students master the procedure of attaining concepts. So once a child has learned how to understand a concept, they can make use of it to learn anything under the sun. So it is basically helping the student master the procedure of attaining concepts. And along with advantages, there comes limitations for that matter for any given model. So concept attainment model also has certain limitations, which includes the first one, that is, all the students may not be able to attain the concepts using inductive reasoning. So this is one of the major limitations, as you cannot expect all the students to have that ability to reason out in an inductive way, because as we know that a class is a heterogeneous group, and which would involve students who may be good at it or who may not be good at it. So you need to understand your audience and accordingly opt for a model. And a teacher who is not resourceful may not be able to adopt the strategy. As I have already discussed, that a teacher needs to do a lot of homework before implementing this particular model, in terms of identifying the examples if you're using a reception-oriented model and presenting it to them, and in a position, or a teacher should be in a position to correct the hypothesis dreamed by the students. So the teacher needs to do a lot of homework and the teacher is not resourceful or is someone who would not invest his or her time in preparing for a lesson to that extent, this strategy may not be fruitful or may not be that effective as it would be with a resourceful teacher. And moderate structure of this strategy may lead to unwanted chaos in the classroom. So if you're not carrying out the strategy in the perfect manner or the way it is suggested by Jerome Bruner, so in that case, the understanding of the concept might get affected, and the students might end up not understanding what you're doing. So you have to be very careful about the structure that you use while implementing the strategy in the classroom, so that the students can make sense of the concepts in a better way, because they are the people who will frame or develop their own concept based on the examples that you present. So after limitations, let us see what are the instructional and nurturant effects. So how would the strategy help the students directly and indirectly, or what impact would the strategy have on them? So to start with, the concept attainment model can fulfill many instructional goals depending on the emphasis of a particular lesson. So how you make use of this strategy also plays an important role, which would define how impactful this model can be. So effects of CAM are, or we can say concept attainment model, are broadly classified under instructional effects and nurturant effects. As I said, instructional effects are direct effects and nurturant effects are indirect effects. So instructional effects cover cognitive and psychomotor domain. So the first one is understanding specific concepts and nature of concepts. So with the help of concept attainment model, they are in a better position to understand the concepts. It helps in developing, altering and improving concept building strategies. So in a way, they understand how to learn a concept and how to remember it for a long time. It provides practice in inductive reasoning. And nurturant effects, which covers the affective domain or which takes care of the affective domain. The effects include, it nurtures an awareness of alternative perspectives. So as a learner who is a part of concept attainment model learns that there can be different perspectives for a given situation. And it builds sensitivity to logical reasoning in communication. So they also learn that while communicating, you need to have a strong reason on the basis of which you would communicate something. A tolerance to ambiguity, since they deal with a lot of ambiguity in the beginning of the model, so it in a way helps them develop that ability to tolerate the ambiguity or the ambiguousness that it might have in the beginning of the model. So these were some of the points associated with concept attainment model, and today we discussed what are the advantages, the limitations, applications and effects, which are again classified into instructional and nurturant effects. So we'll have an example associated with this particular model, so that an implementation of this model can be more helpful once we try and again relook at this particular model with an example. So if you have any queries related to this particular model, that is concept attainment model by Jerome Bruner, please feel free to type it in the chat box. Thank you.